Well, it seems as though we're making a bad habit of this. Grant Langston once again injured in Moto. Grant, suffering from your wrist, and you went down once again and injured it yet again.
You know, I was kind of struggling a little bit even during the Moto with my hand. This track's pretty physical, you know, just on your body. So if you have an injury, it's pretty tough. You know, Southwick's always been kind of kind because it's sandy and it's just a little more forgiving. But you know, I've just been trying to push on and just trying to stay, hopefully, in some sort of the points battle, and you know, hopefully get through it. But I just think from all the riding in that, it's one of those things. If I don't ride in the week, it feels better on the weekend. But when you're not riding, you know, you're taking a step back. And if I do ride, it's harder to go on the weekend. So basically, right now, I just need to do what's right and take a little bit of time off, get healthy, and you know, I'm out of this championship, so now I can just take a little time off, get healthy, and come back and start contesting for wins and that, because it's kind of frustrating riding around at 70%, and it's not fun for me, it's not fun for the team, and you know, they got a good group of guys. They got guys in the championship battle now, so all I can do is get healthy and try and come win some races for them.
Well, what the cameras didn't show you there is at the end of that Moto, Billy Laninovich and Grant got together. Both of our riders went down. Grant jammed his wrist into the dirt. Billy popped his knee out. He's going to be out for a little while, sort of rehabbing that and getting some MRIs done. But tough break for both those guys.
Our Honda starting lineup showing us the same lineup as it did for Moto number 1. And Brock Hepler, probably the overachiever. Great run for him in Moto 1. Let's see how he does here in the second one. They head for the whole shot stripe once again. And this time out in front, a more familiar Mike Alessi, where we're used to seeing him.
Well, it's a KTM again, showing the horsepower that those bikes have. This time not Zach Osborne, but Mike Alessi.
And Josh Grant. So two of the Moto 1 Turn 1 casualties are now back in more familiar positions. Out front, Alessi, then Grant. And whoa, where did that Yamaha Martin Davalos, where did he come from?
They call that the Ecuador chop. He just came and gave Josh Grant a little bump, moved into second.
Alessi, your leader. Davalos in second position now on the blue bike, then Josh Grant. And wow, things are going crazy up front.
You can see Shorty and VILLOPOTO also up front. You know, those three guys, Short, Grant, and Mike Alessi, were all on the ground in the first turn of the first Moto. So now you're going to have another point swing where these guys are all going to pick up good points this Moto.
Very different Moto number 2 here. Josh Grant in the number 2 position on the Sobe entry. And your leader, Mike Alessi, man, he's really trying to make up for lost time in Moto number 1. He is getting gone in a hurry.
Well, he does a great job of getting a hole shot and checking out, getting himself a little cushion like I was talking about with Osborne in the first Moto. He gets himself a nice little pad, and then he can relax a little bit, keep a good pace, spot the guy in second, and just make sure he doesn't close up on him too much. Mike's very good at doing that. So these guys in second, third, fourth, they need to be careful that they don't let him get away too far.
Mike Alessi already opening up a big lead here, and not long after the start in doing it. So Alessi on the number 800 machine with his face in the dirt in Moto number 1 is out front with his face in clean air right now.
You can see a little bit of mud on these number plates and a little mud on the track. They water these tracks pretty heavily between motos to keep the dust down for fans, but it makes it real tricky the first couple of laps of these races. Very, very slippery. The track's gotten a little bit more hard surfaced, so with that water on top of it, it's just like grease. And you can see even some tire tracks, that's where they've had a water truck out there and putting some heavy water down. So these guys got to be a little cautious the first couple laps until the dirt starts to work in, and then they can be a little more aggressive and start making passes.
Ryan VILLOPOTO once again coming through the field, or at least he's going to have to, from outside the top 5 on the number 51 machine, Moto number 1 winner. So everybody's kind of spread out just a little bit. Well, at least spread out between first and second. Then it gets a bit tighter from third on back as they pop over what's called Henry Hill, and not for the best of reasons.
Yeah, Henry had a terrible crash there in 95. Feet came off the foot pegs in those ruts coming up to that hill, and he was just basically wide open off the top.
So right now, Ryan VILLOPOTO working on Martin Davalos.
You can see how much talent VILLOPOTO's got. He just goes around the turn in a full slide, takes a hand off, grabs a tear off, still wide open.
And he's trying to make it up this hill now. We're a lot of uphill jumps off the top. Davalos still holding on to the spot. VILLOPOTO taking that very different line that he's fond of using. And he's really having to fight for it here.
Yeah, Martin Davalos is really not letting him, giving him an inch here. That's great riding on his part. VILLOPOTO's a tough guy to keep behind you. He's always, like I said, searching for lines. You'll see VILLOPOTO go wide, cut in, you know, dive inside of you. So he's good at passing guys.
4th and 5th at issue between the Yamaha and the Kawasaki with a Honda just in front of them. Great crowd here at Budds Creek, and that shot gives you an idea of just how many people have packed the hills and valleys around this racetrack.
This track also starts to get real choppy at this point in the day. They've already had a motocross moto on it. You know, it gets a little bit more hard packed, and the bumps get a sharp square edge on them. Gets really, really tiring in this second moto.
Ryan VILLOPOTO still working on Davalos. He gets close, gets in a little bit of the roost, backs off again for another run at him. And down out of sight they go. Still working it. You know it's coming. You just get the feeling that Ryan VILLOPOTO will go by. But where and how he's going to do it, we don't know yet. Here he comes. Big drive off the turn going downhill. And there's the move.
Well, that's where he passed the leader on the last moto to get the lead. So he likes that turn.
Ryan VILLOPOTO now up into 4th position. We got to whip out the calculators now and start to figure up the moto results. Whoa, Davalos comes right back by again, and you've said it before. If you get past, pass him right back.
Well, you can see there what I was talking about when they get some water down on this track. It gets a little heavy in spots. It'll run down the hills, and they try to water the faces of those hills. It'll run to the bottom, and it did. It puddled up. It was real slick at the bottom, and VILLOPOTO hit that kind of turning a little bit, and his back end just slid way out. He's lucky he didn't get landed on by Davalos. So
Martin Davalos back into 4th position now. We're watching 2nd, then 3rd, 4th, and 5th coming up. And your leader is Mike Alessi out in front of the number 800 KTM. So while these fellows battle over their position, and we've seen it change a couple of times, look at our Toyota leaderboard. We'll be back. Back to the FMF Budds Creek National presented by Yamaha. Your leader is Mike Alessi on the KTM. Then it's the number 24, Josh Grant on his Honda, followed by Andrew Short on a Honda. Here is Davalos and VILLOPOTO 4th and 5th. So that's how close together they are, and that's the order they're in right now.
Davalos is putting up a great fight here. You know, VILLOPOTO's a tough guy to keep behind you when he wants by. You can see him there just pinning it, laying down on the seat, trying to get traction. But Davalos has done a great job of keeping ahead of him. Well, until now, actually.
And Ryan VILLOPOTO goes by again, but we've seen this happen before, and we've seen Martin Davalos reverse it. This time, however, looks a little more like VILLOPOTO's going to stay there. This is the original pass right here.
VILLOPOTO likes that inside line. It just cuts a lot of distance off. When you jump in there, it just cuts their line. They have nowhere to go, but outside of you, puts you on the inside for the next turn. You see him there hit that mud and just go sideways. Had he gone left more, another foot, he would have got landed on by Martin. So good save by VILLOPOTO.
And then he gathered himself up for another run at the number 577 Yamaha. Around the outside he goes this time, and Ryan VILLOPOTO is in 4th position pretty solidly now.
And that's what he's great at doing, is just carrying corner speed. He went around the outside of him. That's tough to do.
Oh, and Davalos now out of the race after being passed for 4th position, and the disappointment in that helmet is obvious.
Yeah, I only know a couple of swear words in Spanish, but I bet if you were standing by that fence line, you could learn a couple more right now.
Mike Alessi out front, and he's probably singing a happy tune inside his helmet because he's got a huge lead here in Moto number 2.
Yeah, this is exactly what he likes to do. Just get a cushion, and then he doesn't have to sweat a guy behind him. But I don't know. I don't think he's too safe where he's at. Shorty and VILLOPOTO both charging still.
Well, I think a huge lead isn't safe in the least bit, especially the way Ryan VILLOPOTO gathers himself in the closing laps of a moto. He's got Josh Grant for company. That's just going to spur him on. The two of these guys could race their way right. And yes, look how they've cut the distance in half just since we started talking about Alessi, the leader.
Oh, VILLOPOTO gets a little squirrely there. He's able to hold on to it. He's charging, man. He's definitely not leaving anything unsaid. He's going to just do everything he can to catch the leader right now.
Well, he did it once in Moto number 1. Brock Hepler not making out quite so well here in Moto 2, back in 8th position on his Makita Suzuki.
Still a great ride for him. You know, he trains hard with the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. Very, very fit rider, but with as little as he's been riding, that's a great ride still.
Oh, and Ping, we've got a race here. This is going to be a battle for the lead. It's not quite on us just yet, but Mike, oh, big mistake. That's going to give VILLOPOTO just that much more advantage, and he maintains his momentum, draws right up to the back wheel of Mike Alessi, and we do have a battle for the lead.
Well, Mikey's been known to have a meltdown or two when a guy catches him like this. He does not like to be passed, and he'll do absolutely anything to keep that from happening. And VILLOPOTO knows he's quicker. He's caught him. I don't know if Alessi's getting a little tired or just doesn't have the speed on this track today, but these two have such a rivalry going back all the way to their mini bike days at Loretta Lynn's and Big Amateur National races. So we're about to see something, I think, here in a couple laps.
Lap rider moving over out of the way of the leaders. Alessi with another big dab in the dirt there. VILLOPOTO a little smoother through that particular section. But there's only a couple of bike lengths between them, and VILLOPOTO has already passed a half a dozen guys to get where he is. He passes Alessi. Alessi turns in on him, and they make contact.
Oh, man.
Keeps the bike running.
RV squared that one up and just went straight under him. Kind of gave him a glance back, like there might have been some malicious intent there. I don't know.
Hard racing in any case, and Ryan VILLOPOTO is out in front. He's out of tear-offs. Now he's using the sleeve of his jersey to try to keep his goggles clean. And at least he's got clean track in front of him for the most part. Let's take another look at this one, Pink.
You can see him go wide. He's setting it up. He wants to cut back under him. Unless he covers the inside, so he's got to drift out a little bit. And Alessi just goes right into him.
Mike Alessi looked left, VILLOPOTO looked right. They came together, and the number 800 bike's on the ground. At least it's still running. He kept it going. Didn't lose too many spots. Almost gassed the bike right out from under himself.
Yeah, it was good peace of mind, you know, keeping that bike running. That could have cost him 10, 15 positions had he stalled it. So it's good of him to keep a hand on the clutch.
Ryan VILLOPOTO's Kawasaki running out front right now. Alessi managed to pick it up and minimize the damage, but he's got a lot of work to do to try to catch back up to that flying number 51. Here's our Toyota leaderboard. Mike Alessi kind of slipping back now. Here he is with Josh Grant battling for third position. Andrew Short has already gone by him, and so he's really been taken out of his rhythm there after that incident with Ryan VILLOPOTO.
Well, it's hard to recover after a crash. You know, your heart rate jumps up, you get a shot of adrenaline, and it's tough to kind of talk yourself off the ledge. You know, you need to take some deep breaths and just start focusing on hitting your lines again. And that's tough when you got a guy like Josh Grant breathing down your neck.
So
jumping over your head.
Jumping over your head, exactly. Had to be in the shade there for a second, Mike Alessi. But now they're side by side. Alessi with a better line here. Manages to hang on to third. Alessi, Grant, not too far in front of them. It's Andrew Short way out in front. It's Ryan VILLOPOTO, but this is the best race on the track right now, and it's for the last spot on the box.
Wow. Great inside block pass there by Josh Grant. He spun that turn so quick. Looked over, blocked Alessi. Now he's all the way at the bottom of the track. That was a great pass by Josh Grant.
Mike Alessi taking the long way around there. Lost not only the position, but quite a bit of real estate to Josh Grant. There's the number 24 now solidly in third position behind fellow Honda rider Andrew Short. The Kawasaki's leading. There's Alessi. And he's coming under some attack again. Take another look at this sequence.
Yeah, watch him hit the brakes and just square this turn up. You can see him, great throttle control to keep that bike from sliding all the way around. He looks over, makes sure he's going to keep Alessi from coming back by him, and just sticks the pass.
And now we have Suzuki's battling one another here for a position, and that is just outside the top 5.
The battle for 7th there. Hepler holding on to a great ride, and Jason Lawrence, who's kind of yet to prove what everyone thinks he can do, but he shows flashes of brilliance here and there. And when he figures out training and how to put a little dedication into the sport, he could make himself a top placer in these races.
Well, it's absolutely what it takes, because the standard has been set so high by riders like Ricky Carmichael and those who are the ones you have to beat in the big class. Here in the lights class, Ryan VILLOPOTO, he does it rather unconventionally. Doesn't get the whole shot and go out in front and lead. That's kind of an Alessi format. Ryan VILLOPOTO just seems to lay back a little bit outside the top 5 and then just eat them up one at a time. He's already working through traffic right now, and it looks like he's going to go 1-1 to take the overall here at Budds Creek.
Well, he's definitely doing it the hard way. I know he'd like to get some whole shots and just check out. That's the way everybody likes to get it done, but he's got the fitness, he's got the speed, so he can still come back and win. And guys like Josh Grant, who's now running, you know, in the top 3, he's also got a great trainer. Fitness is definitely a key for him. He works with Ryan Hughes, who everybody knows is a training fanatic, and that's rubbing off on Josh Grant now, and he's sort of got a passion for training, and And his fitness is great. He doesn't tire out at all in these motos, even when it's this hot and humid.
A little bit of Kawasaki history in their winning streak. This would be and perhaps will be the 100th win in the class. All the way back in 1978, the late Galen Mosier gave Kawasaki their first win. Ryan Hughes, who you just mentioned, earned number 25. Ricky Carmichael, number 50 for Kawasaki in 1999. And Ryan VILLOPOTO has just earned Kawasaki its 100th win in what we now call the Motocross Lites class. Here are the Suzuki Moto results. Some of the early Moto 1 leaders, Steve Boniface way back. Nathan Ramsey, let's hear from Josh.
Well, some untimely crashes and small mistakes have cost him over the last couple of weeks. Josh, this weekend that wasn't the case. You were able to make it happen.
Yeah, you know, I had a bad first moto. I fell a few times. But luckily, you know, I got up to 7th. I was really impressed. I didn't know where I was. I wasn't even looking at the pit board or anything, so I was just charging the whole way. And, you know, I really like this track, and next track I like too, so I'm really looking forward to do it there.
As we take a look at the overall results, there it is, 1-1, pretty hard to beat. Brock Hepler on the comeback with a 2-6 combo to earn him second overall, just a spot ahead of Josh Grant.
Coming into this round, being your first race back, you didn't really know what to expect. Did you feel as though you were going to be on pace with these guys so quickly?
I was hoping for top 5 overall. You know, being out that long, you have no clue where you are. You just got to try your hardest, and I was lucky I was as close as I finished that I'm happy, and I can now look ahead and for the next weeks coming up.
Congratulations, way to make a comeback.
Thank you.
Nice job indeed as we take a look at the points here. Alessi still hanging on by the narrowest of margins, but just like in the motos, Ryan VILLOPOTO's coming.
He sure is. He's closing in. That points gap is pretty much nothing now. So
here's our Racer X Whole Shot Award. We remember this one pretty clearly because things are this time what they have been very often. Mike Alessi on the number 800 KTM is the guy that gets to the line first and led early. But he didn't win the moto, nor the overall. It was Ryan VILLOPOTO.
Well, a perfect day from start to finish. He's up here once again, the rookie sensation. Ryan, you got the starts down, so the second moto seemed to come a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, you know, I just got to get a good start so I can be up there and be able to battle with all these guys. And, you know, I just tried to work my way up and finally got into about second, and Mike was right in front of me. And you know, I just gave him a little love tap, and he went down. And, you know, all the troubles he gave me, my dad on amateur stuff, and, you know, just a little payback, I guess. And, you know, I couldn't have done without my mom and dad, and my grandma and grandpa, they're here watching, and monster baby.
Well, a great rivalry shaping up between Ryan VILLOPOTO and Mike Alessi, not only for motos, but for the championship. Here's another look at this incident.
that is a nice little love tap.